ordered first phone books in late 1980s with my paper route money. I'm looking for trades of the main Cerebus book, volumes 13 to 16. Does AV still function as a company? Well, depending on the day, you'd have to take a vote on that one. It's define function, define company. Can I send Dave a check for the 4 volumes the way we used to? No, you can't do that. Of course, I'm sure they're long out of print, and that answers my question, but you never know. So I thought I'd ask if you knew. And it was, you answered, Kevin, this is indeed the manly one. In answer to your query, I don't know. I believe so, but volumes 14 and 16 are out of print. I'm pretty sure Dave doesn't have any. Volume 14, Foreman Boyd, is currently being kickstarted for a remastered edition. It ends tomorrow, and thank you, everybody who participated in that. Very, very, very good result for a non-Cerebus, non-high society book.
I gotta interrupt.
Okay.
Posted a comment asking if there was going to be an Indiegogo after the Kickstarter for anyone that missed the Kickstarter. And I asked Dagan, and he said he hadn't thought about doing one, but he's going to whip something together and it'll go live probably by Saturday. So if you missed out, you got one last chance to give Dave money.
Isn't that funny? I thought that too, but again, late. It's like, wait a minute, there's a post-game party of some kind on this that we used to do. What was that? I thought it was GoFundMe, but no, it's Indiegogo. You're right. So, yeah, I guess there's people out there who that's what they count on. You gotta have a post-game show for us folks, because we're never going to be there when you want us to be there.
Well, I had somebody else that said that sent a post saying, that hopefully there's going to be overstock on Cerebus overload because they couldn't afford it yesterday. And it's the guy I know, and I'm like, all right, here's the deal. I will buy an extra one. You buy it off of me for what I pay, and you can get one. And I sent him the email, and I'm looking at the clock going, this is getting near the end of the campaign, and with an hour to go, he emailed me back, and I went, okay, so that's the deal. So I bought a second one, and Travis owes me money.
Okay, great. Yeah, there was like 8 people that bought 3 of them, and it's like, oh, okay. I'm definitely not going to argue with that. I appreciate any support at all. But getting back to the question. Yeah, we still go exclusively to the comic stores because it's the whole model doesn't really work anymore in terms of revenue. Diamond is still a just-in-time company in a just-in-case environment that it seems to have turned into since the pandemic. And one of the things baked into just-in-time distribution is they want to order small quantities. And when the initial shipment is done, when the book is printed and marquee is done, they ship it across the border from Quebec to Plattsburgh, New York, Diamond Warehouse in Plattsburgh, and then it becomes an internal thing with Diamond, where Diamond just factors it into, we're always moving tons and tons of books around the United States between our warehouses. If you can get it to the warehouse, which is the situation in Plattsburgh, then we'll take it from there. So that's a very different situation from can we get 13 copies of Melman? you can get 13 copies of Melmoth, but it's going to cost me just about as much to ship them from Packaging 2, because Packaging 2 has to repackage them to Diamond specifications, and Rolly has to take them over to Packaging 2. So it's really more of a service to the direct market that where all of this came from. I don't want to abandon the stores, and I don't want to abandon the direct market. But, it's really a juggling act in terms of what happens with Eddie Kana sort of nudging Matt Demery at Diamond and saying, can you make it all one shipment? Like, instead of saying, can we have 15 copies of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, Swords of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, Volume 1, and 25 Melmoth, and we'll let you know if we want other books. It's like, if you can make them all one shipment, then that's going to cost less. So, if you can do that, that'd be great. But again, that's not just-in-time distribution. Last shipment, which was about, I think, worth of books, probably about 8 books. No sooner got that done than another purchase order comes in for 15 copies of Swords of Cerebus and Hell Volume 2. So it's really, I have great and unwavering loyalty to the comic book stores who are doing the best that they can to keep this sideshow going, and Diamond, who are laboring tirelessly to keep this whole thing going. So it's like, okay, I will figure out places to make money, and then this will just be, well, okay, this isn't making money, but if I've got Melmoth in stock, then I'll send you however many Melmoth that you want, and I'm not even going to really consider this is how much money I'm going to get in 30 days, and this is how much money I have to pay Packaging too. It hasn't gotten really bad yet. I think the worst was 3/4 of the money went to shipping, but that's just what happens when these things change, and when they change in a hurry. And $100 a barrel oil is that hasn't even hit yet. It's we're sort of dead man walking, waiting to find out how that hits. So the short answer for you, Kevin, is really because I'm not really making money off of these. I would rather lose money or not make very much money having you go to your local comic store in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, or whatever store is the closest to Lawrenceville, and just say, can you order me a copy of this Cerebus? The only ones that Diamond is out of right now is and Form and Void. And that is one of the things that we're right in the middle of right now, because Kickstarter's come to an end for Form and Void. So now it's a question of, okay, how many soft covers do we need for Diamond? And that gets into, okay, this is just not working anymore in terms of, in order to solicit for the book through Diamond, I have to come up with a cover price. But in coming up with a cover price, I have to know how many copies I'm going to get. And Diamond can't tell me how many copies I'm going to get until it's been solicited and it's been in previews. So that was where I had to go, okay, well, I have to get ridiculous with this and go, it's $70. Because the quote that we had from Marquis was for $26 books, which turned out to be, no, that was including Dagan's hardcovers and was averaged out between the hardcovers and the softcovers. The hardcovers were more expensive than the softcovers, so the price actually came down. For 300 copies, I think it was $14, $16. So right now we're just exactly the way you didn't used to conduct business, where you kept everything close to the vest on your side. It's like now it's moved up from Matt Demery to Tim Linehan, who is up at the C-suite level at Diamond, as they call it. And okay, Tim, well, here's the numbers. We got quotes for everything from 300 copies up to 3,000 copies. This is how much it's going to cost to do them. You pick the number that you like in terms of, okay, I don't know if Diamond's still this way. Steve Jeffy used to talk about the clean 10. If we can get a clean 10% on everything coming through here, we're laughing. So that's what we're doing. Diamond gets 10%, the publisher gets this percentage, 40%, and the stores get 50%, and Diamond gets their clean in the middle. Like I said, I don't know if that's still the case. But it's like, well, okay, you tell me where you see a clean 10 for you, and a good 40% for Aardvark Vanaheim, and can you live with that quantity? Because it's like Orm and Void is not flying off the shelves. You know, I get the sales figures every week from Eddie Kana, who faxes them and downloads them from Diamond, and it's like it's still Cerebus and High Society, and then every once in a while something else sells. So you know, I'm not going to lie to Diamond about it. It's this is as close as you can get to a charity gig as possible. I'm asking you to buy a 75-year supply of Form and Void if I'm going to make some money off of it and you're going to make some money off of it. So that's a decision for Diamond to make. I try not to approach them with this too frequently, and every time I do, there's been another 6 to 9% paper increase in price that Marquis has had to pass on to their customers, because that's what the paper mills are charging them. If they can get the paper, you know, the paper isn't even guaranteed that you can get it. So, long-winded explanation as to why I don't want to sell you the books that we do have. We do have a few of them. We did some of the signed and numbered copies that we had with the Pieces of Turtles 8 Kickstarter that just ended a little while ago, and sold a bunch of those. But that was like, well, okay, this is David Birdsong's first Kickstarter. Here's what I can offer you to offer on a Kickstarter, and that's what he gravitated to. But the unsigned copies, I consider those diamonds. I'm much happier when Diamond orders 8 or 10 different books in minor quantities, so it's one shipment. But they're not really set up for that. They're set up for, okay, we sold, the computer system tells them, it's got tripwires that says, okay, you're down to the last 10, so now you need another 20 based on how they sold over the last 2 months or 3 months or whatever. But the tripwires aren't working so good anymore, because it's like, you're not selling enough of this, you probably shouldn't carry it anymore. Well, you can't do that if that's what the computer's telling you about 70% of the stuff that you're selling. You still got to keep X number of things in stock. They obviously still want to have all 16 volumes of Cerebus. It's just getting really, really complicated to do that. And as I say, I think I'm meeting everybody halfway by going, all right, I'm not making money on this, but here, this is something that is here for the stores so that they know that I'm not competing with them. And here's something that they can offer to their customers, like you, Kevin. That's what the books are doing here. They're doing here so that they can go from here to the Star System warehouse in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and then from there to your local store and into your own hot little hand. You sounded like you were going to say something.
No, I was just laughing.
Oh, I mean, okay. It's. I would probably laugh too if I was watching it on television. It's something else when this is what your livelihood has come down to.
Well, and it's one of those. Yeah, if you sold the books direct, you make more money in theory, but in actuality, it's shipping's going to eat the profit no matter who you're selling the books to. And in the long run, it's better to order through Diamond or through your local store through Diamond, because that way, it like you said, it trips the tripwire of, hey, we're selling books again.
Yeah, and it is, Diamond amortizes a lot of shipping because they're already shipping, whatever, 4 or 5 boxes to each store that they're still supplying through UPS. The one time that I was at Diamond when they were still in Timonium, and at an appointment I was meeting with Bill Shanis. Receptionist's name is Ann, and it's like it was very interesting to sit there and actually see the Ann, because when you call a Diamond switchboard, it's Diamond Comic Distributors. This is Ann. How should I direct your call? And watch somebody doing that, however many hours a day, and wow, that's really, really impressive. And I told her that, and every once in a while I call the switchboard just so I can say, Ann, I'm so glad you're still there. It's Diamond Comic Distributors. This is Ann. How can I direct your call? But sitting in the reception area, I don't know if they still have it, now that they're in Hunt Valley, but when they were in Timonium, they had this giant eagle sculpture sitting in their reception area. I mean, this thing was huge, and it's, wow, I have no idea what that is, but I'm just sitting here waiting for Bill Shanis to be ready to meet with me. So I'm looking around at the thing, and I look at the label underneath it, and it was from UPS, a customer award for Diamond Comic Distributors, because they were, I don't know if they still are, the second biggest customer for UPS after the U.S. Postal Service.
Wow.
That's a wow. That's a wow. Yes. Nobody else is crazy enough to use UPS to this extent, but it's like it was a match made in heaven as soon as Steve Jeppy had eliminated all of his competition, and it was all under one roof. We are really, really cozy with UPS, because that's how we can guarantee that all of these stupid comic books get to their stupid comic book buyers every Wednesday, everywhere that the English language is spoken. A match made in heaven, no question about it.
My friend Kevin just left the comic book field. He was working at a store in Oshkosh, and he needs more money because the rent's going up, and so he found a different job that's not comics retail. But he used to call me once a week and be like, today's adventure in comics retail, and invariably, now that they're getting their Marvel books from Random Penguin House, like, Diamond built how to ship comics. They know what they're doing. They've done it long enough. Yes, stuff still gets damaged, but it's not as bad. And, like, he was saying there was one week they got 25 packages from Random Penguin House, and one of them, he opened up the box and it's full of bubble wrap and one comic book. and it's a 1 in 75 variant cover that is dinged, so it's damaged. It has to go back. And apparently they got so many complaints about damages that it went from, okay, send it back, we'll give you the credit, or we'll give you a new one, or whatever, to you have to fill out this form online and we'll give you credit and send you a new one, to we want pictures of the damage to prove that it's damaged. And he's like, okay, and so he's going through all the form, and his the owner of the store is getting madder and madder about this and taking it out on him, and he's like, this is what they want me to do. What do you want me to do? And he's like, oh, I'm going to deal with them. So the owner started dealing with him, and after 3 days it was, okay, you can go back to dealing with this, but, this is ridiculous. Because, you got to fill out the form, you got to send the pictures, they got to be really good pictures, they got to be, yada, yada, yadas. And at a certain point it was like, it's, if you guys pack stuff better, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yes. And I could see that coming from a mile off, because it's like, these are civilians. So it's like, well, comic books, throw them all in a box, get them there, Bob's your uncle. And it's like damages, they don't understand, unless it's in pristine mint condition, it's damaged. And it's like, that's not damage, that's like, it's a little bend. Go to Barnes and Noble. Go anywhere. They've got tons of books sitting out. Yeah, it's like they do, but that's because those people don't care. They're not collectors who want everything in pristine mint. So I don't know how that's going to end, but I think it ends unhappily for Random Penguin House, because they're not going to give. It's like, no, comic book guy on The Simpsons is not running this publishing company. We are the world's biggest publishers of books, and we are not comic book guy. And it's like, well, if you're not comic book guy, you're going to be fielding so many of these calls, and you're going to be getting so many damages back. You're going to end up losing more money than you actually make.
Well, and so, the thing I'm waiting on is for them to say to Marvel, no more variant books. We're not going to ship 12 different covers where we keep getting complaints because the 1 in 125 variants that we're sending are getting damaged because there's not enough of them. And it's, I don't know, he every time he called me with a horror story, I would just laugh like, my job can be bad, but it's never like opening up a box and discovering that, hey, this thing that somebody, wants to give us money for, we can't sell them, or we can't sell them at full cost. We have to give them a discount. And I'm going,
right.
It's, the worst part of my job is we're just behind. I got to work the weekend because we're behind. And, as I said to one of the owners, I'm like, hey, you guys are screwed because we're behind, but for me, it's a windfall of, hey, I can work as much as I want.
That's right. It's like Lucy and Ethel, but instead, keep those chocolates coming. Every chocolate that I put in the box, that's money in the bank for me.
Sort of, but yeah. It's one of those. In the long run, it's bad for the company, but in the short run, hey, I'm gonna make bank now, because eventually they're gonna say, nope, we're not doing overtime anymore, and I'll be like, well, I'm getting close to retirement, so I don't care, because it's gonna be 20 years before we get caught up. Yeah. Getting back to the stores and Random Penguin House, it's like Steve Jeffy could show them what they're doing wrong, but he always comes out on top because he doesn't do that. It's like, no, you have no idea
how much money and time I've invested in figuring out how to make this work. It's like, if I can ship 4,000 books to Chuck Rosansky at Mile High Comics, who is the most finicky condition guy on the planet. If I can ship 4,000 books to Chuck and I only get 100 of them back every week, then I have solved the problem. And it's like they really don't grasp that. It's like what's so difficult about this? It's packing books. It's the same thing with Amazon. I'm sure Amazon gets far more graphic novels and comics related stuff back as damaged and going, what are you talking about damage? This isn't damage. Yes, it is. It's spine break. See the color on the spine next to the staple? There's a little white line there that shouldn't be there that makes that book a 8.5 instead of a 9.8. End of story. And it's like, what are you talking about? End of story. Well, if you try to do this for 6 months or a year or 2 years, or however long they've been doing it now, and you start seeing how many returns you're getting, you're going to have to play it the other way. You're going to have to go, okay, what do we have to do to make this work? And they're not going to do that because it's as much money as they're making off of Marvel stuff. They make that much more money on all of this stuff over here where nobody's that picky about it. So again, it's like, no, the tail doesn't wag the dog with Penguin Random House. The tail wagged the dog with Steve Jeppy and Diamond Comic Distributors until you figure out how to create a happy tail. And then, okay, now I'm the dog again. But until I figure out how to make a happy tail, okay, we're getting way too far into completely bent metaphors now. So I think we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next question instead. The pride of Easton, Pennsylvania, Mike